So, you're thinking about getting permanent residence in Japan? Well, listen up because the entire game has just changed. Seriously, what used to be a clear path is now getting a lot of people rejected, and we need to talk about why. Look, this isn't just some headline to scare you. It's the new reality. We're seeing rejection rates like never before, and folks who are absolutely sure they had it in the bag are getting turned down. So what's really going on? Why the sudden change? Let's get right into it and break down exactly what the new standards are, why they're so high, and what you absolutely have to do to prepare. All right, let's dive into this new reality. The first thing you have to get your head around is that all the old assumptions, you can pretty much throw them out the window. Let's start with a hard truth, okay? Permanent residence is not something you just automatically get after living here for 10 years. It's not a prize for showing up. It's what's called a discretionary permission. Think of it as a privilege, not a right. And right now, immigration is enforcing the conditions for that privilege more strictly than ever. And that leads to this really dangerous belief that a lot of people have, that just because you've been in Japan for 10, 15, even 20 years, you're safe. That is just not true anymore. Nowadays, someone who's been here for less time but has a completely perfect record is a much stronger applicant. It's all about the quality of your history, not the quantity of your years. So how does immigration actually make the call? Well, it turns out every single application is measured against three core pillars. If you understand these, you'll understand the new system. These are the big three: good conduct, a stable livelihood, and providing a clear benefit to Japan. Now let's unpack what each of these really means today in 2026. Good conduct used to basically mean you didn't have a major criminal record. Not anymore. Now, they are all about patterns. A couple of traffic tickets here, a fine there. Individually, they seem like no big deal, right? But to immigration, a series of small slip-ups paints a picture of someone who isn't reliable. They're looking for character patterns, not just big offenses. Second, stable livelihood. It's no longer good enough to just show them last year's tax return and say, "See, I made enough money." They want the whole story. They're looking for continuity, no big unexplained gaps in your work. They're looking for consistency in your income, and they want proof that you'll be stable in the future. This is especially tough for freelancers and business owners. You've got to prove your business is real and sustainable. And that brings us to the most misunderstood pillar of them all: benefit to Japan. People hear this and think they need to be, I don't know, a world-famous scientist or something. But for immigration today, it's actually much simpler. It really boils down to this: are you a reliable, long-term contributor to Japan's basic systems? In other words, do you pay your taxes and your social insurance fully and on time? And that idea, that simple contribution, brings us to the absolute heart of the matter. Why are so many applications being rejected right now? Well, it all comes down to one area where they are scrutinizing like never before. So, what do you think it is? What's the number one killer of PR applications today? It's not about how much money you make. It's not about your job title. It's something much more fundamental. It's this, right here: your complete history with paying taxes, pension, and health insurance. Full stop. This has become the single biggest tripwire, the number one reason people are getting that dreaded rejection letter. And just look at how deep they are digging. They aren't just checking if you're paid up now. They're pulling your entire payment history for the last several years. They're looking for any late payments, even by a day, any missed months, any gaps at all. And here is the absolutely crucial part: paying what you owe late does not fix your record. In their eyes, the damage is already done. A history of delays means you're not dependable. And if you think that sounds tough, well, buckle up. The rules are actually about to get even stricter. There are some huge changes on the horizon that will totally redefine what permanent residence even means in Japan. This is a massive, massive policy shift. The government has already passed laws that will allow them to actually revoke permanent residence if someone deliberately fails to pay their taxes or social insurance. So PR is literally changing from a permanent, secure status into a conditional one. It's a responsibility you have to keep earning. And that's not all. There are other things being seriously discussed at the government level. Things like making Japanese language ability a formal requirement, or even mandatory integration programs like you see in some European countries. The message couldn't be clearer. The bar is only going to get higher from here on out. Okay, so that's the situation. I know it sounds pretty tough, but It's not impossible. You just have to be prepared. So let's shift gears from the problems to the solution. Here is your actionable checklist for how to get ready. All right, here's what you need to do. Number one, and this is non-negotiable, fix your payment compliance. Go to the city office, get official proof that every single yen of tax, pension, and insurance is paid up, and more importantly, that it was all paid on time. 2. Clean your record. From this moment on, avoid all fines, all rule violations, no matter how small. 3. Build that stable story. Show consistent work and income. No more hopping between jobs without a good reason. 4. If you do have a blemish in your past, maybe one late payment from years ago, don't hide it. Prepare a written statement explaining exactly what happened. And finally, number 5, start thinking about the future. Work on your Japanese, get involved in your local community, get ahead of the curve, because these things might be required soon. So when you boil it all down, getting PR in this new era isn't about luck anymore. It's not about just waiting 10 years. It's about demonstrating 3 key things: discipline, total compliance, and your ability to earn the long-term trust of the Japanese government. Always remember, the Immigration Bureau you're dealing with now is systematic, they're data-driven, they are looking at the hard facts of your record, and under these new rules, they are not forgiving. The time to get your house in order isn't a month before you apply. It's right now, today. So the only real question left is, if immigration pulled your file and looked at it through their new, much stricter eyes, is your record ready?